the Golden Slipper. This race is special for jockeys, trainers, owners and breeders. This race is about prize money and prestige, but it's much more than that. This race is a life changer. For a jockey, you win this race and your name goes alongside the greats of the turf.
I was born out west, grew up dreaming about this race. Often racing. It was my first major back in 2013 and helped launch my career.
But Overreach, a class above them, and Overreach wins the slipper.
And to win this race 3 times was life-changing.
And stay inside, Tommy Merry wins his 3rd Golden Slipper.
This race has shaped the Australian thoroughbred breeding landscape.
The Widden Valley is famous for producing slipper champions and then turning them into successful sires. Todman, Vane, Marsgate and Stratum, they all stood at Widden and they've all sired Golden Slipper winners.
Vic Marsgate coming away to record a brilliant slipper win.
This race has changed the fortunes and the history of Widden Stud.
Everyone dreams of winning a Golden Slipper, and our special colt Sebring did just that.
Sebring on the inside, they hit the line locked together. Might be Sebring.
I bought him for $130,000 and the owners sold him for a massive sum to Widden Stud. That's the definition of an absolute life changer.
In 2017, a bargain buy changed our lives and put Derby racing on the map.
She will ride in front. The $20,000 filly's got the slipper won. She will ride, baby.
Her owners included electricians, footy mates, coal miners, and some of them even paid off their house. Geez, a lot of lives were really changed that day.
This race will continue to transform the breeding industry well into the future.
This race, it means everything to us.
Capitalist, the Magic Millions winners, drawn clear in the slipper.
Whilst we've already been involved with 2 slipper winners, it's all about finding the next superstar. That's the reason we're in this business. We're here to find the next breed shaper, the next life changer.
Today at Rosehill Gardens, trainers, jockeys, breeders, bloodstock agents and owners assemble for the world's richest 2-year-old race. Everyone wants to win this race. It's the Golden Slipper, and someone's life is about to change.
Says it all, doesn't it? And Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott nominated 159 horses for the Slipper. They've got 3 runners today. It's exceptional. That's how hard it is to get a runner in this race, which is a gold medal for so many people, for so many different reasons in Australian racing. Lizzie, for many, it's the best day of racing for the year.
It certainly is the best day of racing for the year. Of 5 Group 1s on offer, but as you heard in that opener, it is life-changing. It doesn't matter if you've won it before, it is something that is quite iconic in this country, and it's everyone who is in this race today wants to win that trophy, the Golden Slipper. And what it means it's life-changing, and that is what they're here to do. But not only that, we've got 4 other Group 1s on the card, $10 million in prize money. Private Harry, he's an excitement machine. Wotan, well, he will certainly be life-changing. And then we've got races like the Ranvet, where Via Sistina is potentially going to make that Group 1 record even bigger, and the Rosehill Guineas. So much to look forward to, Bruce.
McDonald's and Freedman's know all about Golden Slippers, don't they? Let's join Katie and Emma today for our track report. Em.
Welcome to Rosehill Gardens, where we're racing on a good 4 today, rail out 3 metres. And we talk about last weekend, Katie, when the rail was off. Your thoughts on the track today?
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, Em? Because they came down the centre last week, but the track was quite firm. So the rail is out for 3 metres. Again, it's rattling. It's quite firm out here, so maybe even an upgrade early on in the program, seeing how the races play. But it's in top order. They've got great grass cover. What a day we have in store. 5 big Group 1s, and of course, the Mac Daddy of them all for the 2-year-olds, the Golden Slipper.
We cannot wait for it. So beautiful conditions here today. Sunny skies, not a breath of wind. We are racing on a tip-top surface, team.
For Chris and then for Annabelle, of course. And, well, Animo, have a look at this. What a magnificent racehorse he was, and now he's at stud. So all those horses have won recent Rosehill Guineas. Tom Sherry trying to win his first Group 1 and a couple of our trainers as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting day for them and they'll be so nervous, and a lot of these jockeys and trainers have had a lot of opportunities to get their Group 1 horses to the races, and just trying so hard to get that win. It is hard. I've been in that spot, but they will get it.
Well, in 1929, Farlap won his first Group 1 in a Rosehill Guineas. It was in the spring of that time, so the race can always boast that. It's about as good as it gets. Let's go into the mounting yard, and Lizzie's with the hot pot. He's a star in broadsiding.
Katie and Bruce, this guy's one of the favourites, and one of the favourites on looks, I should say. Of course, he's one of the favourites, but he's just such a magnificent looking horse. He's not overly big or overly strong, but he's so athletic looking. He's got this enthusiasm to really want to get on with the job, and you can see that by the way he wanders around the yard. He looks fit enough and ready to go to me.
Well, Gold Rush Guru is a Derby winner. He's a quality horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure is. He's one of our favourites, isn't he, Bruce? And he didn't let us down when he won the Derby. And he's come back in top order. I loved his run in the Australian Guineas, where he was held up, but he still had the audacity to pick himself up over the mile and hit the line the way that he did. I think he's going to be really hard to beat. And we know one thing's for sure, he will definitely stay the trip. Lizzie Swift Falcon.
He's got a very fast walk on him, team, and he looks ready to go today. Of course, the only negative about this guy is that he gets back and runs on. But as far as looks are concerned, he couldn't look any better, hasn't turned a hair, very bright in the yard, and lots of fitness on his side.
Good tick there. This is an interesting horse, Checkmate. Comes out of the Kiwi, the slot race. One start here, apparently a real sighter for the Golden Eagle next spring.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know, they've got a massive respect for the Kiwis when they bring them over, especially Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Stott's horses. He was beaten by a really good horse in Demas Rose last start. That was on a soft track. So, yeah, I think he'll be a big player in a race like this from a good barrier.
So, Lizzie, you're with Plymouth, who comes from Victoria with some solid form.
How you going? Yes, he looks as though he's handled the trip up here nicely. Yeah, well, look, he's in good order, guys. He's very athletic individual. He's quite alert. He came into the yard with a bit of a spring in his step, and he's had a good look around. He's got those earmuffs on to try and keep him settled and relaxed, and they seem to be doing the job at the moment.
Well, savoured the dreams by Super Seth. We know he can side Guineas winners. He did it week after week, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly can. And he was a little bit disappointing down at Flemington, I thought, but I think he can bounce back onto his Sydney leg here. Of course, he was a two-time winner up in Queensland, and he was very, very impressive. He's only lightly raced. He's been well placed here. And look, I think he's a place chance.
And Bevan Lamming must have an opinion of him and this horse, because he took them both to Guineas, one in Melbourne and one here. Our benefactor, Richo's Ruffy, so his form in Queensland was outstanding before his run in the Guineas.
Yeah, he was really impressive. So he's third up. He'll derive a lot of benefit from having the other run under his belt. So he'll definitely run well. It's just whether or not he's up to the top quality colts like broadsiding. Mayeka's Sunset was a great winner, but thrown in the deep end here.
And Aliana fascinating the filly, eh? The filly against the boys. Ali, over to you. How short is broadsiding?
Well, he's not as short as you'd expect, Bruce. He's actually been $1.95 out to $2.40 just from the way the track is playing and the awkward draw. So while he's best backed, he's got about 50% of the money invested on him. He's just easing now, and there's been support for runners around him. One of those is Swift Falcon, who's been 5 into $4.40. Gold Rush Guru has gone $5.55, now $5.50 again, has stayed relatively solid. There's been a really good amount of money coming now for Aliana from Barrier 1. She was as much as $10, $8.50 this morning, now into $6.50, then into double figures about the rest. 12 Checkmate. Plymouth is at 19s in from 21. It's been a little trim up at odds there for our benefactor, 61 into $41. And then nothing really else to note there. So broadsiding best backed with just over 50% of the money invested, albeit he is easing given the way that the track's playing and how he's drawn a touch awkwardly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. And I just came back from having a look at one of my favourite horses, guys, Wolf. It was a bit of a trek down there, but he's come back in super order. He looks the best I've seen him, I think, all preparation. Third up, he had that minor setback, so we went back to 1,300 in the Canterbury Stakes. He hit the line well, right on target now for 1,500, and I think he could run a really bold race. It maps well for him, and he looks cherry ripe.
We are about to chat with James Cummings, of course, with broadsiding his champion 3-year-old colt. I love the way he walks around the yard. It's with such purpose. How has he come through his last start?
He has come through the round Guineas well, and whilst that race was run in a disruptive fashion, it should have really brought him on for this, and that's what we've noticed between runs. He's a little bit warm here in the muggy conditions out the back settling up, but as a 3-year-old colt, it's a bit harder for him, a bit more challenging than it is for some of the geldings in the race. But all in all, I was happy with his parade. Like you said, he walks in here with a bit of purpose and a bit of swagger, and now he gets his chance. Not since the Cox Plate has he been over this distance. He gets the chance to show what sort of class he has over 1.25 miles.
And you think he's got the class over that distance? I know there's been some commentary during the week whether he gets the 2,000, but I mean, looking at what he did in the Cox Plate, yes, he was a long way behind Via Sistina, but you certainly say he gets the 2,000.
Yeah, look, it's fair because he's a Golden Rose winner and a champion 2-year-old, but I think he deserves his chance, and the Rosehill Guineas is a great test for a horse. It's something of an audition for broadsiding here, so the challenges will be there, and they're good horses, the horses that are going to be running home with him. But yeah, he's got the perfect opportunity, perfectly prepared today. He's got everything to go right. If James can just get the run that James desires from that draw, well, hopefully we get to see the horse produce his best for the prep.
And ahead of the slipper, how are you feeling about both your runners in Bayvarkt and Tempted?
Yeah, I think they've settled in well. They've travelled in well from Osborne Park, and look, I'm delighted with the lead up for Tempted. Bayvarkt just has to turn it around from a poor performance, having been carved up near the lead in the Todman. But he's tough, that horse. He can turn it around, and of course, Tempted's got the gun barrier. So. Happy with the both of them. I just hope that it all works out for Bayvarkt from barrier 14.
Good luck from here.
Thank you.
James Cummings there saddling up the champion 3-year-old colt in broadsiding. Who looked the best in the yard, Lizzie?
Overall, I thought it was an excellent parade from him. So broadsiding goes on top. Swift Falcon gets a big tick from me. And I suppose, Bruce and Caitlin, it's all about what run that broadsiding gets from James McDonald.
No, spot on. And James mentioned that, didn't he, Katie? As we go to you, Ali, for the market mover from the tag.
It's Aliana, Bruce. So as I said, she's drawn barrier 1, 850 now into 550. So there's been some good late smart money come for her.
So Chris Waller here with the filly. Richo James McDonald became the first jockey to win 10 Group 1s in Australia on 4 occasions. He and Huey had shared it with 3 with that previous win with Via Sistina. But he's got a challenge here with broadsiding, hasn't he? This won't be an easy ride.
It certainly won't, but, well, broadsiding's got the right jockey on, though, hasn't he? J-Max, just an absolute champion. It's been a privilege to watch his career develop over the years. I think he's got a task, broadsiding here. As brilliant as he is, if this is a mile, I'd be saying, oh, you simply have to back him. But he bumps into a really good stayer, a stayer that you put me onto, Bruce, called Gold Rush Guru, the Derby winner. I think there's an element of quality about him. Do not underestimate Gold Rush Guru. I think he gets his chance to knock off the champion broadsiding. If you're looking for a roughy hour benefactor at around 50s, might be able to slide into the top 3 or 4.
And also not forgetting Swift Falcon too, who's been on the heels of broadsiding. He's not been far away. I think getting out to this trip will really suit him. It's going to be an exceptional race, very tactical, so we'll see what plays out, Bruce.
Fascinating. Here's Darren Flindell for the Rosehill Guineas.
Field moves in, and we're ready to go. In the Sky Racing Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres, broadsiding out to 280 at the death in the rough and racing. And Plymouth has the head in front early from Checkmate. Gold Rush Guru being sent forward. Aliana posies up nicely. Then Majorca Sunset. Swift Falcon a bit handy in the run. And broadsiding's caught a little bit wide in the early part. And McDonald's looking over the shoulder to see if he can drop him, but he's caught 3 wide for the time being. Followed by Save of the Dream, our benefactor, and Kasuki's last of all. So broadsiding 3 wide going into the bend. And the leader is Gold Rush Guru. Jump to the front, and now Millum puts the brakes on as broadsiding goes forward on the outside, and broadsiding will race up into second position to avoid being caught wide. Then Majorca Sunset and Save of the Dream, one of the long shots of the field, being sent forward. They're followed just behind the speed to Plymouth in the navy cap down on the rails. So Majorca Sunset back to 5th, then came Aliana. Further back to Checkmate, 2 off to Burn and Win. Swift Falcon, who was pretty handy in the early stages, is back 3rd last now on the running line from our benefactor and Kasuki. Gold Rush Guru switches off in the lead. Just being pestered a little bit here by Savour the Dream, the outer. A length and a half to Plymouth and broadsiding. He did some work early, but McDonald's got him fourth. One out, one back now at the 750. Further back, Mallorca Sunset on the outside of Aliana. Swift Falcon starting a run. Doesn't want to give away too much. Start against broadsiding. And Swift Falcon's making a very fast run coming to the turn. Gold Rush Guru being eyeballed by Savour the Dream. Plymouth locked up now from broadsiding and Swift Falcon the outside. Mallorca Sunset is next into the straight now. And just in front, Gold Rush Guru, Savour the Dream, but broadsiding letting down now. Swift Falcon a length behind. Broadsiding 200 to go. Leads by a length on Swift Falcon. Aliana making some headway. Broadsiding in front, 150 to go. Swift Falcon's in for the fight. Broadside kicking. Aliana flashing home at the end. The fillies flying and lunges. Oh, photo finish in the Rosehill Guineas. Broadsiding and Aliana. Oh, nothing in there. Swift Falcon third, Plymouth fourth. Get back to burn and win Mallorca Sunset. Checkmate. Gold Rush Guru, our benefactor, Savour the Dream and Kasuki. Hang on to your hats.
Yes, hang on to your hats and just wait for this. So it's J-Mac and Chris Waller in different camps. That doesn't happen all that often. And has broadsiding hung on, or has the filly been able to reel him in, Aliana? It is so much depending on the bomb. Aliana lunges late. J-Mac seemingly home. Aliana, big dive. And from there, you'd say the broadsiding probably hits it and does and gets the win. An extraordinary day continues. Chris Wallaby just misses out, and James Cummings and James McDonald continue, and he's got a fourth Group 1. That's racing, the horse, I mean, that's racing at its best.
Yeah, it was thrilling finish there. Aliana, gee, she was brave. She had to bullock her way out. She really was powering to the line. What a beautiful performance from the Castelvecchio filly, but of course, the big colt, the big boys, and James Cummings with Emma.
Is that 2,000 beautifully? Congratulations. Did you think in the photo that he had hung on in the end?
Well, look, he's a class colt, and class carries you a long way. I suppose from the draw, he's had to do that fair bit of work, and James just rode him with confidence. He stuck to his plan, which was essentially to keep an open mind and not give away too much ground today on a track like this. But that filly, who's been so good, who James knows well, Aliana, has just laid away and done no work. They can launch at you, and it takes a very good horse to hold them off. You know, he's probably not a genuine 2,000-metre horse, but he's a brilliant horse, and he's got up and won the Rosehill Guineas, so fair play to him. He's probably done it the hard way, and his performance is worth reflecting on. So before I go and rule him out of other 2,000-metre races in the future, I think that's worthwhile saying, and it's a great credit to him that he's got another Group 1 on the board. Very difficult to do on a warm day and these conditions, but he's just a good horse, and it's just so pleasing to see him get up and deliver.
4 Group 1s on his CV now is nothing to sneeze at, particularly as a colt, and for your operation, that is extremely important. You have discussions with the big dogs in Godolphin right now about what that means. I mean, his commercial viability at stud when he gets there is just mammoth.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a really important horse for our business. He's got a lot of his father in him, and Too Darn Hot would be an incredibly popular sire if he was coming back. So that, you know, there's a lot to be said for having a colt as classy as broadsiding, ready to take his place on the roster one day. But today was something of an audition for broadsiding, and it gives us a good guide as to exactly where we want to go with him in the future. But there's plenty of desire there to be still here on the track fighting out these finishes. And I thought he was good in the Randwick Guineas last time, and he showed that he's been brought on by that run in being able to do so much work and hold on for that victory today.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
It's almost a mirror image of Animo, really, and what Animo had done. He'd had the one extra run, but he'd come through, winning a Hobartville, second in a Randwick Guineas and wins here. I thought it was a colossal ride by James. He had to make a big call early in the race. He made it. He took a bit of, I guess, tough love, being wide, but then he got into the right spot.
Yeah, he really had to go forward and use him up twice. And Emma is with the man of the moment, James McDonald.
Katie, and rightfully so, his second Group 1 of the day, because it was a messy run race, wasn't it? Talk us through it, because from the get-go there was a lot of hustle and bustle. You wanted to go forward, get yourself in a positive spot so that when it came to the sprint at the end, he wasn't too far away.
It was one of those moments where you're doomed if you do and doomed if you don't. So we rolled the dice, had a crack, paid off, but like James said, there was no real plan. Just go with the flow, and at the first bend I thought, oh no. Then one worked out, I ended up in the 1-1, and geez, he was good also. It was a good win, a really good win.
When the filly flashed home, did you see her from your left and go, oh dearie me?
Yeah, I was just thinking, glad Waller doesn't have one in the Galaxy. So he's a chance at winning them all, but it was nice to get the photo. The horse deserves it. He's a good, really great colt. He's done a marvellous job today, and yeah, proud of him. He's run the 2000 out brilliantly.
Great job, buddy.
Thank you.
Robbie Dolan arrives at Moonee Valley today. He likes to enter to learning to fly. Only one ride for the Melbourne Cup winning jockey, and he'll be in action shortly. James McDonald, 11 Group 1.
Doesn't he, Katie?
Yeah, he does. His first crack at a Group 1, and he did it with ease to provide Nathan Dunn and Ash Morgan, his jockey, their first Group 1, and they enjoyed every single moment of it.
There were some great finishes today, Richie. I'm not sure there was a better one than we had in the rider today, because there were not 2 but 3 charges. That beautiful moment there with Ash, as Katie was talking about. But this looked a great race, Richie. 10 Group 1 winners going into the race, and how many coming out, mate?
Yeah, that's right. The extra one. The only one that hadn't won a Group 1 was Gringotts, and got it right on the line in a driving finish. Chairwolf and Fangirl fans were beaten today, but by gee, they ran superbly, and that was a great moment. Well done, Tommy. Welcome back to the Group 1 club.
This was a superb ride by James McDonald, because he had to make a big decision early. He did get trapped wide early, but then he got in, and this was a driving finish again, wasn't it?
Yeah, another stunning performance from a really special colt, and they were coming at him hard, but he's so brave. You can see him really pin his ears back and have a good old crack and get another Group 1 on his CV. He's building and building in the filly. Gee, she got close.
She sure did. And Richo, talking about good 3-year-old fillies, and we've got a few, like a Lucy today wins the New Zealand Oaks. She's only been beaten once, and she's on her way to Australia, isn't she?
She's on the way to Australia, and she's on the way to Chris Waller, and no doubt she's probably on the way to James McDonald, who continues this unbelievable season. So she was about $1.30 or $1.24. It was a narrow victory, but onwards towards...